One really economical way to stock your tank with rock is to make some rock called Aragocrete or Oystercrete. It's basically a mix of either aragonite or oyster aggregate with some Portland cement. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started here. This first clip is just my demonstration of what you'll need to start with. This is just regular play sand that I've wet down. I'm trying to demonstrate how well you can pack it. This is basically going to be the mold of your rock, so you're going to be able to shape the rock however you want using this sand. Next we're going to have the actual rock mix coming up here. This rock mix, I found my favorite combo was 3 parts aggregate, so 3 parts crushed oyster shell or 3 parts crushed aragonite to 1 part Portland cement. It's recommended to use type 2 Portland cement. I don't know why. All I could find was type 1. I asked some people, they said it should be just fine. I think the type 2 sets faster, so you might have to, let it sit a couple more hours before the rock hardens. In any case, this isn't a super fast process, so if you're impatient, this isn't for you, because it takes about 24 hours per rock to make here. So this is just me mixing up all the dry ingredients. And a nice little tip here is that every 3-to-1 ratio, so the amount that I measured out there will take about 500 milliliters of water. A little bit under. I didn't actually measure it. That 500 milliliters happens to be half of one of these Smart Water 1-liter bottles. Obviously, simple math. If I had measured, it would probably be around 450. And this is just me showing the slump here. Basically, you want to put enough water in that it's not dry, it sticks together, it doesn't crumble in your hand, but it's not wet and runny, because if it's wet and runny, it's not going to be nice and porous for you, and porosity is a big deal. So here I am just kind of making a shape. In this specific video I'm failing horribly. This is the very first one I made. I got a little bit better since then, but you can play around with it. You can make whatever shapes you want. You can layer some stuff. If there's enough interest, I will show how I made some caves, how I made some arches, how I made some tiers, various things. But you just got to kind of think of how the rock is going to look and basically kind of mirror that, do the opposite kind of deal with the sand, so that you're making the mold essentially for the rock. Make sure not to pack it down. It's nice and loose like this, but make sure it's packed enough that it's not going to fall apart. This is the first finished rock. This is the rock that came out of that mold that I was doing. Obviously there was more to that mold than just what I did. There's a little cave in the top. There's kind of a pillory thing in the bottom. I think it turned out great. This is definitely going to be one of the base pieces. As I got better at this, I made some cooler looking pieces that hopefully we'll see in another video. But I think it turned out great. It's super porous. It's wonderful. Nice caves, holes for the fish. I'm pretty happy with it. This is just a demo here of how porous the rock is. I kind of made like a little bowl, and I'm just going to dip it in without dipping the top of the quote bowl in there, and you can see how porous it is. The water kind of flowed right through it and up to the top, so that's going to be wonderful for bacterial colonization. I'm fairly certain that this doing it like this is way more porous than even some sort of dry rock. Obviously I don't have any scientific info to back that up, but it looks way more porous to me. This is just a 70-gallon stock tank here. You can use really whatever tank you want. The important thing is, in this step, is basically soaking it in fresh water to get out all of the bad stuff. I say bad stuff because I don't know exactly what it is, but basically it's going to raise your pH, which you'll see in the next little clip. And this is going to end up soaking for about a month or two until our pH of our water in is no longer affected. here's the pH test, the left test.